I'm gonna be honest with you guys right out of the gate. I'm not that big of a game nerd. And really, that's not supposed to be a bad thing, because game nerds have existed for a long time, and mainly because, well, as long as they're games, they'll be nerds. But let's be clear here. There are many games throughout the years that have always encouraged nerds to come out of their shells and find their niche in the world. Like nerds finding true love with games, strategies, and strategy games. Yeah, I know that sounds stupid. And basically allows them to put the full capacity of their brains to use and create such games, based off of stuff that requires a lot of strategy, a lot more planning, rather than just shoot them and kill them. One of these things is Warcraft. Basically, Warcraft's been around for a long time. It's basically has a simple yet rather thin premise. Basically, playing a game, the one that's practically a staple of nerd culture, alongside stuff like The Big Bang Theory, and especially Dungeons and Dragons. And basically, that's actually not a bad thing, because there's a little nerd in all of us, such as see the indie film Rise of the Fellowship. There's a little nerd in all of us. But basically, Warcraft basically became the game universe that nerds could unite. Like, it's basically a game universe for nerds, by nerds, and for nerds' knowledge almost only. And thus, when it was announced several years ago that a film based off this was going into production, I was a little surprised, a little skeptical. I never played Warcraft at all, and I didn't have much expectations when I went into this. However, there was some things that I didn't notice in there. First, a few of the actors, and two, the director, Duncan Jones. He's basically known for directing films like The Source Code and a few others. And there are only a few recognizable actors in the cast, such as Toby Kebbell playing a lead orc, and also actors like Ben Foster and Dominic Cooper. So that was interesting. So I checked out Warcraft, and I'm here to review it. So what do we get? Guys, I don't want to say... I'm trying to speak as much as I can in a cohesive way to ensure that I don't tick off those who like the Warcraft game and might want to sign up for this movie. Guys, although I want to say the Warcraft movie is a good film based off of its source material, and at least does a good job of presenting a good world, unfortunately, this isn't it, guys. I'm sorry. I got very little out of this film, and this is not me speaking as a guy who hasn't seen the series or played any games. Overall, as a movie, it's so underwhelming. In other words, this is no Lord of the Rings, guys. I'm sorry. So where do we even start with this? Well, first of all, let's start with obviously this movie's biggest strength. Duncan Jones as a director. And Duncan Jones actually has a very does have some unique traits when it comes to his directing. And it's even from the very first shot, with the sort of tracking shot you might see in other films, like from Ridley Scott and such. And it's been always one of Duncan Jones' unique traits. However, in this film, he does put those to good use. The problem is, however, that we don't get shown much of those at all. It feels like we lose some distinct personality along the way. And granted, that does not help support the rest of the movie, because we need to talk about the story itself. It really, if you know the story, basically having be like between orcs and wizards and knights and such, it's not even worth going into. But the thing we should talk about next will be the characters. And given that there are some characters in a lot of the orcs, like the main villain being the head wizard of them all, that one of the anti-heroes being the chieftain Duradan, played by Toby Kebbell, who actually does have a good performance and does have a good character to him. And even the half-breed orc, played by Paula Patton, and does have some character personality to her. And she does have a believable backstory. The problem is, however, is that while they are relatable characters, they're the only two characters worth giving a damn about in this movie. Which brings us to, sadly, one of the most weakest parts about this film, the human characters. in that they're not really bad human characters, but there's very little that makes you want to get behind them. In other words, again, I'll say it, this is no Lord of the Rings. When it's in Lord of the Rings, there was actually time to develop the characters. They actually had clear motivations behind them. You could get behind them. You understood them. You liked them. Whereas for this film, there's not much you're going to connect to, because a lot of characters aren't bad, honestly, like, except for Ben Foster's character. We'll get back to him. Like the young wizard in training, I forget his name. He actually was passable enough, as was the main character, Lothar. He actually was passable and very good. I forget the actor who names him, but he was good. And the king, he was good. He was passable as well, but he wasn't any bad characters. But they were kind of bland and dull. Like there wasn't much behind them you could get into. Granted, if the rest of the movie held up better, I could be able to excuse that. But unfortunately, despite some impressive visuals from Duncan Jones' direction, there's not much substance to this movie that can really save it. And this takes us, however, to the writing. Now Duncan Jones is responsible for co-writing part of the script, but however, as far as the story and the development goes, there's not a lot we can definitely see. There is a good backstory there, to be sure, and while there wasn't really anything close to nuance, there are, however, some good lines thrown in there, and it's a well-written battle scenes and dialogue. And the battle scenes are actually pretty well fought. In the CGI, some of it does work, even if it is no spoil points. But unfortunately, this is where I have to get into the biggest problem with this movie: the storytelling. Now, in the first half or so, I can never see where the movie was going. But by the time the half part of it comes around, like we start to lose sight of the main characters, and it's hard to tell where exactly the movie wants to go, and that's actually a big problem. Whereas with Lord of the Rings, one of the influences for the Warcraft games, there was actually a lot of focus on the characters. You could actually see where the story was going, and you could get invested in it. Whereas for here, the focus stops halfway point, and we start transitioning to different characters and as the story goes, and it's hard to tell where the story is going or whether or not which character we want to get invested in. So much so that I actually want to root for the orc characters more than I do for the human characters. And given that the human characters are actually the meat of the story, that's a bad thing, guys. I'm really sorry here. So look, I know that Warcraft is a great gaming franchise, and I know that if I didn't play the game, I would understand it more. But given that I haven't played the game, but given that we need to judge this as a movie and not as an adaptation of the source material, it still doesn't hold up good. The story is far from cohesive. The human characters aren't as relatable as they need to be, especially now as much as the orc characters, who, while they are passable, don't exactly grip anybody or worth anyone's investment. And while Duncan Jones definitely stands above the rest as a director, even despite his best directing traits, the story, he unfortunately can't save this movie either. It's not a bad film, I will say that, but it's definitely not worth any value this year. I'm sorry. I'm gonna give this film a 5 out of 10, and only a recommendation if you guys like the Warcraft films. But unfortunately, like I said, this is no Lord of the Rings had much better stuff than Superior. It had better characters, a sharper focus, much better battle sequences, and the characters were actually better defined and fleshed out. Whereas here, just like the ending tease, they're hoping for a sequel. They got a lot to clean up because this kind of a mess. So thanks all for watching. Comment down below. I want to know, and yeah, I know the Lord of the Rings references seem to be kind of a lot, but given that Warcraft is practically inspired by Lord of the Rings, it's kind of hard to overlook them. But if there's anything you want to know, or want me to change up, let me know in the comments. Which brings me to my final part before I end this movie. I'm gonna be adding some new changes to the channel coming soon. First of all, there's gonna be some new art. Secondly, I'm gonna be adding a new introduction really soon. And two, I'm gonna try hard to make things sharper and faster, so you guys can get more invested in them. And I plan to add some special tricks along the way, which I will be unveiling very soon. Other than that, thanks a lot for watching, guys. I'm currently on a goal. I would like to get to to 50 subscribers by the end of the summer, which is about like 2 months away. And if you guys can help me with that, I'll be very much appreciated. And I would like to help these videos get as much views as possible. And I will be announcing more stuff about that very soon. But like I said, I would like to get as many views as possible on my videos, and I would like to get to 50 subscribers by the end of August. So if you guys can help me with, if you guys would be willing to do that, I would be very much appreciated. But until then, my name is Ross, this is M&M Weekly, and I will see you next time.